Hi, my name is Leisha Conway. I breed Palomino sport horses. These are my three guys out here. Mum, Dream, son, Poet, who's the feature of this video, and her daughter, Faith, behind them.
And a little while back, we got in touch with each other because Poet had a problem. Could you describe that?
Well, since I've bred him, he's always had issues with really loose poo, to the point that he was almost constantly scarring. And it got to the point where I got a vet involved. We had the vet come out, took blood samples, took a fecal samples. They all came back with no explanation of why we were getting the problem we're having. I'd say about 75 to 80% of the time he was scarring, and only when I was giving him things like Biosponge to help bind him up was he actually doing normal poo. But as soon as we took him off that, once he was pooing normal, he would go back to scarring again, and it was becoming a bit of an issue that we needed to deal with.
So, at first, you tried just a maintenance dose of Equibrew, is that right?
At first I did what was on the bottle with the 2 weeks of a loading dose, which his poos became almost normal. Like they had more texture than what they normally would. They were normally like a really loose cow pat basically, but they had started becoming shaped. So I dropped him down to the normal maintenance dose, and he was probably on a maintenance dose for a good 3 weeks before I accidentally forgot to buy a bottle.
What happened when he ran out?
So 3 days after he ran out, on the day I managed to get a new bottle, I came back home and his bum, his tail, his legs were just disgusting. It was just black. And as you can tell, he's a white horse. He should not be black. So yes, he was very loose. His poos were pretty much water again. So yeah, a big difference.
So it was about then that we got in touch with each other.
Yes, that's correct.
What happened then?
So you guys asked me if I would mind doing a loading dose for a month with him to see if we could get his poos to normal. So that's what I did. I stuck him straight away onto a loading dose. I gave him 150 mils twice a day, morning and night. Meant getting up really early, but hey, this is what we do for the love of our horses. And it made a difference. Within about a week, I noticed he was firm again. About a week and a half later, he was normal. He had proper poos, and even after we had a bit of rain, changed paddocks, they were all things that would set him back in the past. This time, nah. Maybe a little bit of watery stuff that was coming down, but nothing like what I was experiencing before Equibrew. And after a month, even his trip in the float to shows and stuff, which sometimes some horses can get a bit loose then, his poos were normal. Got to the show, normal poos.
And you've had a bit of success with the shows?
Oh yes, very much. He's only a yearling, and he's managing to get reserve champion. With the 3-year-old seems to get the champion, but a yearling to get a reserve champion, that's really good. And that's 3 shows out of 4 shows he's done. We've gotten reserve champion.
And how do you feel about the value, about the price of Equibrew?
For a product that works, it's extremely cheap, to be honest. I have my 4-year-old, she has a fractured hip, so I'm buying joint supplements for her. They're horrendously expensive and often don't quite work. Whereas Equibrew, $25 for your smaller one, which for one horse, I was finding it would last a couple of weeks. $70 for the big one. For all 4 horses, that's lasting a month, and it works. I mean, that's really cheap for something that works.